map, man, and it was an opening Hardpoint versus Cloud9. Okay, you will take that. You were able to respond in the search and destroy, clutching up in the round 11, but the most important, impressive thing was that 3-0 on the invasion control. You had players like Hydra going almost triple negative, but enough about that. It's time to get into our first matchup of the day. Winner moves on to top 4.
A 6-star to start. We're going to have High Rise for map number 2. You can see it all at the bottom part of their screen as Abuza. How about him? And we talked about it. If he was running this AR all year long, he would have been far and away probably the rookie of the year, and he's starting things off hot here for Vancouver.
Yeah, that was the recipe for success yesterday versus Cloud9. The ARs played outstanding. Rezi and Abuza were 2 men on a mission with those ARs in hand, and already into this P1, they were finding a little bit of success, but you can see Carolina swing their way back on in, all the kills going in their favor, and now they're continuously soaking up this P1 time.
We talked to this Vancouver team. We're saying, hey, Hook is coming way different today. What's been the sauce? He's just feeling confident. He's now back to nuke form and will clean shots at range. Quinn able to respond to one, and he actually gets the second as well. Nade will take him out of the picture. Hardpoint goes neutral, but you look at the minimap, and you got Vancouver setting up for P2 first.
Yeah, Surge have the rotation over towards Nu, but Carolina on your minimap, they're finding all the kills to that front side, so that's already 3 dead. If you are Vancouver now, you have to play for these kills instead of playing for the objective, but now the reinforcements are here, the trades are in, and Carolina hold on to the first push.
Really clean stuff for Vancouver, and now they're trying to get a little bit of separation from this next hit. Hook hitting the pinch. He's able to find not just 1, but 2. A teammate unfortunately lands right into the lap of Fellow, and as 04 tries to step up, it will be Beams to shut down the play. So maybe one more chance here for Carolina to try to break.
Yeah, it wasn't Carolina holding, it was actually Vancouver in the 2v4. Great plays out of 04 to basically take the lead right on back. 30 seconds still to fight for here. You have Beans finding a double. I feel like that's what that young man has been able to bring to this roster. Just that slaying ability. 9 and 3 start, already on 4 in a row. Only 20 seconds still to fight for here at this P2, and you already see on your mini-map that they're taking a step ahead. Felony nice and early off that rotation to Nu.
Good pinch though coming off for Hook. Just trying to play for the rest of the scrap time. Beans gets to 5 in a row before falling. And this has been really kind of a paradoxical start for Carolina. Fellow's just at 0-3, while Beans is 10-4. So the dichotomy of the ARs is completely separate at the moment.
But if you remember yesterday for Carolina, these are the 2 hills that they tended to struggle with versus Optic Gaming. These P3s and P4s, they couldn't find early successful breaks, and that led to them walking away with the game by 100 points. So starting off at least trading effectively, Felony able to come out on top. You were also able to flip those spawns towards the back end. So successful rotation from Carolina. Now you just got to run up that score.
No trophy system here though for the Royal Ravens. Seattle setting up for their break attempt around the outsides. Fellow in trouble. Going to be stunned and naded. Gwyn though from the front, just holding onto the waterfall jump up. He's going to take down 2. Long pinch on the way from Hoop, but that's shut down by Beans. So just when you thought for a moment that Vancouver were going to find entryway, Carolina say no, not today in the last 18 seconds.
And look at how well they are playing so far. A flawless hold. You're starting to take the map away from them. Beans already finds himself on another 4-3. Make it 5, trying to earn himself his first cruise missile, but unfortunately, again, does get shut down on 5 in a row. But that is a flawless hold right there from Carolina. Seattle Surge, they're able to get those final 10 seconds, but at least you already have a couple players off that rotation. But Vancouver, they said, screw the rotation. We're going right through the middle of the map.
Beans is gunning. 17-7. Peeling players off headies. It just seems like no gunfight is a bad one for him to take at the moment. And with that, the Royal Ravens find themselves up about 40 points. Time being earned. Pinch also on the way. Carolina just spreading the map, and Vancouver have no idea how to deal with it. Hook, the last one standing, tries to force the engagement, but he's shut down, and 3 Ravens will survive.
And that's Beans trusting his teammates. He was holding down security, realizing, okay, you guys are spawning on the opposing side. I just want to hold these angles. You guys got to clutch up on those gunfights. And clutch up on every single one of them to still hold on to this hard point. He's having himself one hell of a start to this series. Already breaching that 100-point mark, still 20 seconds to fight for, and this is perfect for Carolina. This junk time is going to be yours, and you're already showing presence around that mid-map.
I mean, when Beans is finding not just kills, but damage like this, I'm sure TJ's like, I'm in there. Like, let me run and fly at him. And it's working out beautifully through this first set of hills for the side of Carolina. Beans is still just popping off. 20-8. More damage tallied slows down this next hit for the Surge, who have to just group up and try to flood this from mid.
Right now, 04 is not having the best performance, and neither is Brad. You got to turn it around on the second half of the game. There goes the SMG duo to strike. They're able to find a double with TJ now with the AR. He's trying to get it done. Unfortunately, does fall, so the break comes in for Surge. But this is the time you need to get back into this game and also maintain those spawns for next.
And it does look like they have an idea that Beans is here, but it doesn't make a difference. This guy is unbelievable right now. 21 and 10, eventually shut down. Pook holding on to the interior of the bar, up and over the head. He's able to find one, leaving Gwyn by himself, but there's no follow-up. 04 is tagged, he can't come on back through, and just as soon as he makes the challenge, TJ turns that into 2, and Gwyn follows up to cleanly wipe out the floor.
And now this is where Carolina can be the aggressors. They're already walking away with this final 20 of junk time, but Surge realizing, all right, this game is starting to get out of hand. We can't give this up for free. We're still going to try to go for the contest, and Abuza with the double is going to be able to secure that final 10 seconds. Vancouver again start off with the initial spawns for the backside of P2. You just cannot allow Carolina to slay their way through the front and make it way more mixy.
And you might just need to slow down for a beat here if you're Surge. I mean, you're dealing with a 12 and 32 between Brezzy and 04 combined. That's not good, and also not very common. But as Vancouver start to set themselves up with the spawns, now it's just down to if they can break the hills and jump into a Surge listening.
I'm getting you, Phil. He's front.
I'm coming for them. I need it. I need it.
Keep putting behind you.
Nice. Go in.
One mid life, it's not time, it's not time. You should like backward corner.
Okay.
Yeah, was mid life, guys. Nice, that's you. You can
One guy's cutting mid, I think.
Go mid. I'm here.
I'm pretty sure he's mid somewhere.
Stop someone. Okay, that's you.
Watch that curve.
Left side.
Give me a second.
Close right. Yeah, right. Jordan, right.
Yo, he's in white.
He's 20, dead.
Nice job.
In white on me.
One time. 1 HP time. Hop up. 1 HP.
I'm showing white. One guy's.
I'm long right now.
Shot me.
Front guys.
Yeah, we can go.
On time.
Where
Baby white.
Well, Hook is trying to inject some energy, but still Carolina winning on rotation as they grow their lead back to 60+, so we bounce right into a Royal Ravens listening.
All right, nice shot here, Teach. Teach, one shot. He's out of Tiki.
Blocking. I have blue.
I'm looking wood, Teach. I have wood.
What do you want, boys? I'm popping.
Wood, 04 dead.
Blue mid, bro.
Upstairs, I'm one shot. There are 2. Open. My front hop's open. I'm looking wood. I have wood. Get my hop. I have wood.
I'm trying to get it. Pop up.
I'm looking wood. Nice, I'm going to wood. One more hop. Nice, good shit.
Open.
Nice guy. I'm leaving that Ben. Listen, I'm going office. Listen, I'm going office, okay? Yeah, I'm coming to new. Get to new. It could be you, Isaiah. It could be you. No. We're going to wrap the.
Let me come out here.
Might play duo.
Alright.
I'm looking your top.
You look lobby, Ben.
Look mid. Just hold my you. One their side. Go on top office. One to hit the deep right, I think. Brezzy top office. Brezzy top office.
Take some on the break, guys.
And the comms from the Roy Ravens is fantastic. You can already hear Beans. No one is messing with him right now on the map. 32 and 13. He's finding a 2-piece, finding a 3-piece. The only thing he has yet to earn on this map is a cruise missile, but he is shooting tremendously straight right now.
I mean, it's just Carolina could do no wrong. Everyone is sitting at massively positive stat lines. 04 finally starting to heat up just a touch. A double there keeps the Vancouver Surge into the new hardpoint. 35 seconds till the fight for in Carolina looking to set up for mid-hit.
Still a lot of time, though, at that P4 HP, but if you are Vancouver, you got to make sure you're maintaining around the rest of the map, but that initial 2 kills going in favor of Carolina, they're going to apply all that pressure through mid-connector, but Hook and Abuza combined for 3, so this is a potential start back up for Surge. You need to walk away with this final 15. You're already showing a lot of presence over towards that middle of the map, but if you pay attention to your mini-map, Felony gets blessed with a free pinch spawn, and he's also able to get that kill.
And the last 2 left alive are the 2 players that you need to start seeing wake up. Now it's just down to 04, trying to get out and save his life. Not going to happen. Gwyn turns that into a double, and it's just the quickness, the tempo that Carolina are putting on the map. Vancouver cannot hang with. Unreal scenes, 50 seconds to fight for here at New, and Ravens could win the game right here.
That's crazy when you talk about tempo, because on the opposing side, you got 04 and Hook, who are the 2 fastest players that we had throughout the entire season. Just not in sync right now. Carolina are able to breach that 200-point mark. They're continuously running up the score. Abuza trying to put himself in a position to not let this time get away from him. But every time you turn, there's another player from Carolina ready for the gunny. Already 3 dead in the feed. Gwyn on 5 in a row. They can still win it here.
I don't know what these guys had for breakfast or lunch, but I'm going to need it immediately sent to room service because, oh my goodness, even Fellow getting involved. Abuza's double gets immediately countered out by one of Beans, and now all of a sudden, it's all Ravens just trying to take this over the finish line, and why not? Fellow getting aggressive. Beans right there to follow up as, well, they will at least maybe see one more hill, but look at the setup. TJ still finding kills, and the Ravens are going to fly on into a map 1 win.
Yeah, and the spawns all the way so across the map for Vancouver. They're not going to have an opportunity to get back into the game. And Carolina Royal Ravens, the team that has preferred this hardpoints versus this Vancouver squad, they get another one added to the tally in dominant fashion to go up 1-0.
I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, walking double kills for every single member of the Carolina Royal Ravens. And for Brezzy at 04, the monitor's on because, wow, I don't think we've seen them get bullied that badly in a long time.
Showed up a little bit late to the party, man. They were not ready to spawn in on the 6-star. Obviously, if you're Carolina, you had the opportunity yesterday to play this versus Optic. You were able to go back and realize the mistakes that you were able to make. You needed to step up in the pacing. That was fantastic. But the slaying department was way too easy. It was a 40 burger right there out of Mr. Beans. And then 30 plus out of Gwyn. He started to turn up out of nowhere. Also 2 minutes and 20 seconds in the hill. And if you're TFL, it's all about 12 and 17. I promise you, he's leading in the comms, making sure everything is orchestrated properly. And that was a dominant opening hardpoint.
They didn't need him.
No.
I mean, wow. Unreal scenes. Nearly 6K damage for 2 members on the Ravens. 41 and 17? Are we kidding each other right now? Unreal stuff. On the other side, what was like 27 and 56 combined in terms of the KD for Brezzy at 04. So, I mean, legitimately, that is a 1v2 pretty much the entire way for the side of Mr. Ben Beans.
And if you are Vancouver, you got to shake that one off and shake it quickly, because yesterday, at least you had stellar performances out of both your AR players. Brezzy was going unbelievably bonkers versus Cloud9, especially in the search and destroy. And at 04, having a slow start, sometimes when you're running that SMG, you're feeling like, okay, I'm playing too slow at moments. But then when you're playing too fast, you're always running into gunfights and spawning so far away across the map. It's taking a lot of the time for you to even get back into the play.
Yeah.
And it was just very difficult from start to finish for Vancouver, even though they did have a majority of the spawns for that P2. But everything else, Carolina flawless off the rotation towards P3, great on early breaks around that P1 area, and then P4, they were the team that soaked up a majority of that time as well.
Clean stuff, man. I mean, you can break it down a million different ways, but you're going to come away with the reaction that Carolina dominated.
Yep.
That's pretty much the only words you need to know from start to finish. So now all of a sudden we start to take a look back over the series. We got a high-rise search and destroy coming up here. And again, it's one of those things that this is still a new team, so to speak, here for Carolina, but it does feel like their search has come in pretty darn prepped up for this event.
Oh yeah, because they were able to take this map yesterday versus Optic Gaming, the only one that they took in the series, even though it was all the way into round 11. They came down to a 1v1, and Beans was able to beam dash it across the map, but you were able to go back and watch that. And that is fantastic. So you were able to make those adjustments. Obviously, Gwyn dropping 14 and 7, earning the cruise missile going into the round 11 definitely helped. But you're more focused today, if you are Carolina, on working this objective. I feel like they did not get a single plant yesterday versus Optic because they made it very tough, especially showing a lot of presence towards top heli. You cannot get early picked off.
Yeah, that's the big part. And I think the person you're looking at in particular could just come down to TJ. I think he had 4 first deaths in the matchup versus Optic when we were casting them. So that's going to be kind of a focus point, whereas for Vancouver, they were one of the top search and destroy teams at one moment in time throughout this year. So can they continue to find success here? Opening first blood, good for 04. That's a heck of a way to start, too, especially after the slow hard point. Follow-up good from Abuza, keeping 04 safe, and that's now a 4v2 for Vancouver.
Yeah, that's the dynamic duo right there for Surge. Making sure you're having each other's backs covered. So now it turns into a 2v4, Beans and Fellow. Left to try to clutch on up. You can already see Vancouver getting aggressive up on the map. Hook is just waiting to strike. He finds that kill on the Beans. 1v4 for Felony. He's only able to take down 1, and that is a perfect response to stop the bleeding off of that map, number 1. Come out swinging in round 1 and search and destroy.
I think as well, on top of that, you know, 04 finding first blood is just part of the equation. It's where he finds it.
Yes.
If Vancouver can continue to have that pit dominance, that's been one of their linchpins towards success on the entirety of the year, is being able to freely go from underground to underground, using bottom blue as kind of a route that they can both utilize both on the defensive side as well as on the offensive. So to be interested to see if 04 can just really kind of feel himself out down towards bottom blue in that underground area.
Yeah, just continue to play around your teammates. Obviously, that was an orchestrated setup there. You find that first blood, you back down, you throw a shoulder, gain the info, and set up a Abuza for that second kill. So teamwork makes the dream work for this Surge roster, and Abuza this time around, he's able to find that first blood all the way across the map. 04 getting aggressive. The confidence is roaring through this young man, already to a 3-0 start, trying to make it 4, but he's just going to play his life.
Yeah, really smart route here from 04. Takes this player out of the A windows. Follow-up is easy from Hook. And wow, okay, this has been just as convincing as the hard point was for Carolina. Nice shots from TJ. Can he find a second, though? He's going to get overwhelmed from his left and right simultaneously, and that will be enough for, again, Surge to take a quick first blood and turn that into an easy round.
Yeah, and you're probably expecting there, if you are Carolina, all right, they're not going to get aggressive on offense. There's no trophy system still to work with, so we're just going to spread the map out and see what they're going to throw at us. But when you find Abuza getting that first blood from window to window, that makes it a lot easier, because now you have the man advantage. 04 already took a lot of space over there towards the propane for that second kill. And then you know Hook is bound to be in the play somewhere. He sets up the pinch for the final. And then TJ left in the 1v3, stood no chance. So Vancouver, 2 rounds in a row.
Look back over this route from 04, like we talked about, using that blue side of the map. Definitely something to keep in the back of our minds here. Is now 04, Hook gonna try to make a play over towards A. And that's gonna be convincing control over towards Helly's side. Fellow in trouble, but the wallbang does not connect, so 04 will still stay on just a 4-0 start.
They have a lot of their bases covered over towards this B site. They realize that it's not going to be easy to work this objective over towards A. Positioning right now out of Abuza, holding down that B lane by himself.
Yep.
He's in such a crucial spot to try to shut down this play in 04. Sitting on 0-4, but we potentially are going to have an engagement on the cards through bottom blue. Look at the play.
Yeah, absolutely the case. You also see Brizzy was kind of watching the backside of this, and yeah, this is a really good late rotation here from the side of Vancouver. You called it perfectly, Jay. Abuza's out there by himself, but 04 getting the cross, and then Hook coming back over from the front side at Helly will once again utilize that bottom underground position to overwhelm Carolina. It starts with the long crossing battles, but it finishes with the close-up action.
It's just beautifully played right there out of Vancouver, man. Like, making the play come to them. The fact that Abuza was able to find one, but also the second kill as well. 04 didn't even have to shoot his gun. Their setups right now are flawless. They're realizing what Carolina are trying to throw at them, taking the ground away. When you're finding success in that first blood category, now 3 rounds in a row, always up in the man advantage is going to make your job a lot easier.
Oh, yeah. And the cushion of 3 rounds allows you to do some weird things if you want to. Just keep Carolina on the back foot. This has been as convincing as any search we've seen so far on the weekend. And how about this? 3-man hit over towards the A side of the map initially. Fellow up top, going to be catching some nades. I don't know if he gets tagged by that, though. 04 is in a good spot to watch for the jump peek, and yep, he will confirm that Fellow's here at Windows.
Oh, and another first blood, this time out of Brezzy. Look at how aggressive, though, Carolina take over towards that B street. They take that away from Vancouver, but they said, screw that, we're just going to find that first blood across the map. And now in the man advantage, this is where you have the playmakers ready to make some plays. Hook roaming through bottom pit. Sort of has a read that there's at least a couple players around this site, puts down shots into Beans, but just going to give the info to his team.
Stun lands, Brezzy on the hunt, and that should be isolation. I mean, this is perfect in every form of the word. Absolute perfection from Vancouver. They've gotten, what, 4 deaths at most? And we're 4 rounds in. This has been beautiful.
You can always rely on Vancouver Surge to show that teamwork prowess in Search and Destroy specifically. They have been great from the start of the season. They're closing out the season as one of the top teams in this mode for a reason. As that's now, what, 4 first bloods?
Yep.
They're slowly working around the map. You're forcing Carolina to change their defensive look because a lane is open. Someone has to sort of pick that up, and then every time that lane gets switched out, a player is making his way through, making the plays.
That's exactly it. It's legitimately layer after layer. It is checkpoint Call of Duty of hit condition 1, move to condition 2, find success there, and, well, Brezzy, an aggressive battle through mid. But again, because that player at mid is not being able to watch anything, who gets into the site for free? He's got help up top over towards elevators. I mean, again, Vancouver are getting the defensive setup that they want.
They're already trying to take B Street away from them, but they do not read the positioning out of TJ. He gets aggressive over towards the propane side. Finally, a first blood in favor of the Ravens. They have the man advantage, and they also were able to isolate onto Abuza. So this should be around in the 4v2. Just got to play your trades correctly.
I will say I like the idea from Abuza right there, though, to try to come around the backside of the play, but Carolina are very privy to it. And now it is just down to Brezzy, and he's been figured out a while ago in terms of him playing towards A windows. Gonna dance with the devil a little bit here as he resets the position, but bomb will be planted, and this will be a 1v4 chance for him.
Damn, Brezzy's on 4 in a row. So how aggressive did he decide to be in this situation? He potentially earned himself a cruise missile, and he's not going to even attempt to try to clutch up on this round. Carolina had them trapped in towards the back. Don't know if they're going to try to play for this kill to not allow him to potentially pick up that cruise, but everyone is sending it.
Yep. Stuns won't land initially, but it looks like Brezzy will be caught from behind here. Or maybe not. Okay, decent attempt, but good heads-up awareness from Carolina. Don't allow him to have a chance to keep playing for this. If he earns a cruise missile, this search is just done.
Yeah. Thankfully, TJ was able to put himself in a position for that first blood. Finds that kill onto the player on top propane. And then into the 3v4, Abuza realizes, okay, we're in a man disadvantage. I have to try to make something happen. Gets aggressive up through the B street and was not prepared for 2 players to turn that corner. So Vancouver successful on the round after getting that first blood, but you need a couple more to even get yourself back into this game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, big time. But, hey, first blood turns into a first round win. Okay, we can work with that. Just comes down to can they change the patterns and the trends, which have still been largely controlled by what the Surge have been able to do. Gwyn quickly in towards the site. Beans now looking to get a little bit more aggressive towards B alley. TJ playing the opposite side of the map, and Vancouver will continue to try to just work towards this bottom pit angle.
Showing a lot of presence through bottom mid, but TJ now taking a little bit of pages out of Shotzi's book. Finds that second first blood of the map. Early man advantage in favor of Carolina, but Hook is just ready to go. The nuke strikes. He's only able to take down one, and Gwyn and TJ respond with two, so Abuza now in a 1v3.
Yeah, I love that from Carolina. I mean, you get the first blood, but nothing gets aggressive afterwards. What we've seen to this point, and this is not just extensional towards this particular map, but what we've seen throughout the weekend is if Vancouver can get a first blood, they're going to run at you.
Yeah.
If they get first-blooded, they're going to try to slow down and find one guy to hit her out. So the fact that Carolina have gotten a good read on the pacing that Seattle, or Vancouver, pardon me, have been able to pull is a good sign towards potentially bringing this map back.
Yeah, the mid-game adjustments are starting to come in for Carolina. They've realized that, okay, we can't give up our first bloods for free. Let's stall out these rounds a little bit and force Vancouver to switch up their defensive looks. Because that's now 2 rounds in a row for them. This time a different approach. They're going to double stack through bottom mid. They're instantly going to contest over towards that B street, so that objective might get instantly planted.
But I love this read from TJ. He sees the defensive stun get thrown towards top blue, so he knows he needs to lock down the lane, and now TJ's on 5. And on top of that, he's found a rival 9 to play with if he wants to. Shots from Brezzy alert now Carolina to the position over the defense towards A. TJ not able to quite scout him yet, but focus or Carolina can go right back over to B now.
Yeah, you have a lot of time to work with, so let's continuously play for a little bit of information before we even think about that objective, because you know players like 0-4 are always going to put themselves in a position to contest it, and he's able to hit the hopper for at least one kill, but Gwyn effective on the trade. Still the man advantage in favor of Carolina. TJ on 5 in a row. He's going to set up this pinch play potentially for this free cruise.
That silence about to expire, but he's seen the target he needs to, and now a cruise missile earned from TJ. Wow, what a flip of the script here from Carolina. So Brezzy will find himself in a 1v3 playing from the opposite side of the site. Maybe a chance up the ladder, but no, Gwyn watching it the entire way, and it's 3 in a row for Carolina.
And realistically, it's all about TJ right now. You said it yesterday, he had 4 first deaths. So far, that's 3 first bloods in a row from TJ. He earns himself the cruise missile. It's 3 rounds in a row for Carolina fighting their way back into this game. And now if you are Surge, that pacing and everything that you had for your initial game plan, you got to throw something totally different because you have a cruise missile now to worry about.
Absolutely. I'm loving what I'm seeing in terms of the immediate adjustments for Carolina. I think this team in the past we've also kind of seen have moments like this, but to be able to pull it in forms of first blood tallies, getting a read on the tempo that Vancouver's trying to throw at you and dealing with it. Beautiful stuff. And this time going to be passive defensive setup here for Carolina. A lot of focus through the mid lane. With just Gwyn playing aggressive, he may have been stunned there, but doesn't dissuade him from still holding his position. The follow-up nades don't land, so he's very healthy here.
Yeah, Gwyn's in a great position to contest over towards this B site. You also have TJ contesting over towards B street. He is on 6 in a row, potentially a round that you want to call in that cruise, but 0-4 finds the angle for the first blood.
Yeah, that's just a little bit of a misstep right there from Gwyn. He's trying to get extra information at mid. He just gets caught. And now TJ trying to force some sort of a trade. That's not going to work out. Defense holding back now for Carolina, trying to receive wherever this hit is coming from. You've got Hook and 0-4 trying to play through the underground, and TJ's not going to be able to get the timing for it. 4v2 for Surge.
So now Beans and follow the ARs for Carolina. Left to try to clutch on up. Only 30 seconds left on the game clock. Eventually, Vancouver have to commit for these objectives over towards this B site. They just don't want to get caught off guard. And now you have Felony slowly working his way up through bottom pit. He potentially is going to find the angle, but the bomb goes down. He still finds the kill.
Beans trying to help him on the cross. Whoa! Nice shots from Fellow. Just can't quite finish off the kill towards Abuza. And now Beans is in trouble top helipad. Decent shots, but can't finish Abuza at range, and now he will be completely taken advantage of over towards top heli. No worries there, and with that, Vancouver put themselves on map point.
Yeah, so far it's been a battle of the first bloods. Whoever has successfully found that first blood has secured the round win at the very end. But with 0-4 finding that angle onto Gwyn, it's a great start off, and then you see TJ gets aggressive up through the B street. He was just not prepared for the bad timing he was going to get through underground. You put it into a 4v2. You let the game clock wind down. You work that plant. You find the effective trades to close it out. Now you're at game point.
This will feel familiar, though. Carolina brought around 11 back by winning 3 in a row against Optic yesterday. And they had a cruise missile to help for that. So it just comes down to, can they repeat? And opening nades towards Pit are going to land. Hook will drop in Carolina. They may try to go quick here to try to take over the surge side of Underground.
Yeah, and that's beautifully timed right there. And teamwork out of Carolina, because they realize, okay, we're going to get aggressive through bottom blue. Everybody chuck your nades for that first blood. Gwyn also finds his second kill onto the round. So now in a 4v2, you do not have to invest a cruise missile. Here, TJ across the map is able to strike onto Brezzy. Now with Boosa left in a 1v4, but he's in a really good spot.
Gets the first, transfers, doesn't finish off the second. Oh, if he gets that kill, maybe there's a world where we start to talk about the possibilities of this. It's not over yet, but obviously Carolina are now very alerted to where he's positioned. The bomb's been collected and will be tracked back over for a Planet A.
Yeah, you Planet A. It's basically a GG in a 1v3. He's going to be able to find the freebie, though, onto Gwyn. The snap, not good enough, though. That is going to send Carolina at least to force this round number 10. And now on the defensive side, all you want to do is play for the info. No one drop early, because TJ with that cruise missile is instantly going to be able to stop that objective when it goes down.
Yeah, that's the big point about this, is I think you can try to set up your defense to play off the cruise in this round. Offensively, they found some pretty decent success. Now, keep in mind the patterns here. Vancouver, their most amount of success in First Bloods have been by getting aggressive over towards the B side of the map, whether that be at the alley or more particularly down low in the underground. Can they find a way to get that success again? Bomb being left. They're looking to get aggressive with nades early here.
How fast Hook is playing in towards bottom blue. But they know that TJ has a cruise missile, so that's why they're going to play a little bit safer. Putting themselves in close quarter situations where they can at least keep themselves alive from that cruise missile. That's already been 25 seconds knocked off the game clock. The cruise is going to get invested. This is all the information now gained for Carolina. Do they decide to take the map away from them now?
Oh, Gwyn's trying to chase. He's trying to chase down Brezzy. Doesn't find him, though. Cruise missile. Oh, no. I mean, what are we talking about? That is Gwyn down low, near the door. Cruise missile takes him out of the picture, and simultaneously as it being called in, Beans will drop, and now it's a 4v2 for Vancouver.
And Hook's able to find Felony across the map, so now it's a 1v4 onto TJ. Does he have a miracle in him? Positioning already known, and 0-4 is able to close it out with that final kill. Vancouver tied the series up at 1, but what we doing with that cruise, Teach?
Man. I mean, if you're Gwyn, you're sitting there like, really? Yeah. That cruise missile was hit top windows, and he's bottom pit door.
That's tough, man, because you got to keep in mind, the cruise missile was coming in nice and slow. Gwyn was the player that was getting aggressive, taking the map away from them, trying to catch them off guard with his positioning. But the unfortunate team kill happens from TJ. I feel like TJ always has at least one of those moments in every single title. Remember last year he dated himself in a 1v1. You just don't see things like that happen. But Vancouver were able to respond on the back of the first blood again. 6-4 is the final score in that column. 6-4 in the final score of this entire search and destroy to tie the series up at 1.
There's a lot of ways that we can be critical of that last round, but I think most importantly, it's something we don't even see. It's the fact that Brezzy gets isolated, but he gets out of bottom underground. Because that wasn't just Gwyn on the hunt. You also had Beans playing over towards the A side of the map, looking to trap him bottom blue. And unfortunately, Beans drops in the same breath. Gwyn can't quite find Brezzy, let alone the fact that he gets team killed out from the cruise. So just tough scenes overall. A heck of an effort from Carolina, but the opening start for Vancouver just too dominant.
Yeah, they came out swinging, man. Carolina started to turn the game around, though. Like TJ with multiple first bloods, 3 in a row. It was able to earn himself the cruise missile. I thought when you're in a 4-3 situation, you probably want to invest that cruise missile there, because you can tie the game up at 4. Then you're making the surge very, very nervous, because you started off swinging in this game. But then Carolina had made those mid-game adjustments. Just unfortunate at the very end when they actually decide to call in the cruise, a team kill happens with it.
Good reads, though, from TJ midway through, allowing Carolina to start to bounce back. Plus, of course, earning the cruise missiles in the first place was a lifeline. Definitely kept us on the edge of our seats just a touch here. But all things told, Vancouver continue to really impress us with what they brought to the table with the search and destroy. So with that, now we start to look at an invasion control. And this is, again, not just the map, but the mode overall has been where Carolina have really suffered. We did get a chance to talk to them a little bit this afternoon before everyone started to come to the venue. They know that their control is poor. They also know that the spawns that they had in Karachi are sometimes unavoidable. So it's weird, like we heard it from, I think it was TJ particularly, like invasion control is the best map that we have right now in terms of options. So at least they've got that going for them.
Yeah, it tends to be their best bet, but if you think about the season, like even when Clay was back on the roster, they couldn't really find a lot of success on Invasion overall. So obviously you want to avoid the Karachi bad spawns. You're spawning all the way across the map for apparently no reason. And in the high rise they played yesterday versus Vegas, they got 3-0'd on it and completely outslayed. So they try to bring a different recipe for success here, throwing in the Invasion control. And if you are Surge, at least tying up the series in Search and Destroy, this is a map that you dominated versus Cloud9 yesterday. Your ARs play fantastic. 0-4 pulled out that third or fourth AR at times, and he was also able to slay with the best of them. So you're very confident if you are Surge, so at least put yourself in a 2-1 advantage on this Invasion.
The other side of things, too, is that Rio Hardpoint that's still lingering. Yes, Vancouver did drop this to Cloud9 yesterday, but it's a very tight map. So it just comes down to, again, trusting the SMGs are not going to have back-to-back bad Hardpoint.
Oh, yeah.
That will be there for us. But, Jay, I think overall, happy to see both these two teams be as evenly matched as we are.
Yeah, we've already seen the adjustments coming in. Obviously, yesterday for Carolina, they play that 6-star versus Optic. They get smoked. They make the adjustments today. They do the smoking. And then Surge, they responded to Search and Destroy. What is that, 7-0 in the season versus this lineup? They are good at SnD for a reason.
Sometimes you just get a rock that meets paper, or paper that meets scissors. That seems to be what we have in the Search and Destroy, but at least we're going to get a control and another hard point when we come back in the backside of the break. Don't go far.
It's the EWC and you want to play like a pro. Well, we've got a lesson for you. Axe on. You're fresh, ready to fight and grind those long hours. It's how it should be. Axe off. You're slow, unfocused, and lagging. Do you get it? Let's go again. To unleash your best game, you must freshen up first. Get your axe on. Spray, play, repeat. Axe and Esports World Cup.
لحظات البداية عاشت معنا. كنا نحسبها وقت للتسلية بس. نحسبها بس ذكريات.
عبود أعطي أختك اليد يا ولد.
ابتكرنا فيها ابتكارات، وإذا بغينا قلبناها خرافات. كنا نحسبها بس لمة وصحبة وسهرات.
انتبه نوب ترى نوب.
لكن كنا نشوف عالم ما حد يشوفه.
ليت يشغل وقته بشيء يفيده.
الله عليك على صوت.
عالم كبر وعاش فينا. عالم الحماس فيه يوصلك كل مرة لحلم أصعب، بس ما يصعب عليك. بارد معك وين ما تروح.
In the Esports World Cup featuring Modern Warfare 3. That's Jay Stud.
Hey.
Of course it is. How are you doing, buddy? You look good today. I love this shirt, by the way.
Yeah, man, you know, I was trying to match the vibes of Riyadh. You know, it's not the best, but it seems pretty nice.
Oh, I'm liking it. It looks really airy, really light. It's
yeah,
hot.
Yeah, I'm still sweating, though. You know me.
I do, dude. It's hot out here. But we got ourselves a great series here for our opening quarterfinal. Hopefully the coffee's kicking in for all of you in North America still waking up, because this series deserves your full attention. We've got a 1-1 count between the Vancouver Surge and the Carolina Royal Ravens. Now going into into invasion control. Feels like the best opportunity for Carolina to show us some life in control, generally speaking.
This is a map that, at least in the first series versus Vegas, they were able to walk away victorious in a clean 3-0. So both of these squads on the weekend have a 3-0 underneath their belt. So this might be the deciding factor of who's going to walk away with this entire series here, as it's going to be Carolina on the attacking side early on. They're not showing any presence over towards A. They want to get the easy one out the way first at this B point.
The interesting thing is they're not really stacking for it, though. They're still trying to feel out where this Surge defense is coming from. And as Beans gets a read that there are a couple of contestants over towards mid-tank, Fellow has to keep his eyes now over towards the DVD alley push, and that's where Surge will make their play. But whoa, TJ pops off for 2 in the feed. Fellow trying to finish off the final. That's all 4 down and a chance, not just for B progress, but keep your eye on number 3. Beans has an opportunity to play up the alley.
Yeah, look how aggressive Beans takes over towards that B street. He realizes that, okay, my teammates are most likely going to capture over towards that B point. So let me just show a little bit of presence at Ace, force them on this side of the map, and allowed him to extend his time early on, as Carolina currently leading in this lane department by 2, almost 3 kills, but Abuza with the snap onto Beans gets it done, and now you have to get past that pre-aim when your Beans off the respawn.
Yeah, and he actually spawns over towards Ice Cream side, so that's going to give him alerted that, yep, our Palace spawn is under threat right now. Extra 60 seconds is added, but Carolina are just going to hold. Brezzy seems to have been figured out. Gwyn also gets a read over towards Hook, but the Rival 9 too strong in that position. Does get traded out, so at least there's some mid-map control. Problem is, you got to get rid of this player at Water Bridge.
Yeah, it all starts with at least this kill in towards Cafe.
Oh, here we go.
Now you're going to force this player over towards Water Bridge and Abuza to try to stay alive as long as he can. The nade is not able to connect, but TJ gets to the read. If he can win this gunfight, even better. But Brezzy effective on the trade. You're still going to put yourself in a position, though, if you are Carolina, to put the game clock at a pause, but everyone falls around Gwyn.
Nice.
Last player alive, you got to make a miracle happen.
Well, he's done well to catch the first. Problem is, the Surge are all over the Carolina spawns. That's dealt with, though. And I mean, you've got Brezzy still way on the other side of the map. The spawns are not good here for Vancouver. That's going to be a first tick done. You've got help on the cross here for Ravens on this opening offense, and Fellow finds elimination. That should be enough for at least someone else for the Ravens to jump at the point.
Yeah, this is a scary situation right here. If you are Surge and they do not find a single kill in the feed, now the double stack, the triple stack is about to be in. Second segment already done. Gwyn is still going to be alive. Get your trophies down, but that is going to be the round. Okay, Ravens, the improvements on Invasion are definitely showing.
I mean, that's just a great hero play from Gwyn to start.
Yeah.
But I think more importantly, Vancouver spawning so deep out, Brezzy's just not moving fast enough, it feels like.
But that's the focus right there of Surge. The fact that they were thinking, all right, we got 2 players contesting over towards Gwyn at that 8 point. One of them are bound to get a trade. Neither one to do. So the other 2 players are playing for those spawn kills, and when they were putting themselves on that B Street side of the map, you're not going to get those gas station spawns. You're going to spawn all the way around blue. So they didn't even have an opportunity to shut down that potential first segment coming in. But then when Fellow over the top catches a freebie with a nade, it keeps Gwyn alive for long enough, and then the rest of his teammates off the respawn, challenge to mid, win all the gunfights, and then the stack comes in. Perfectly played right there out of Raven.
Just domino effect, absolutely. Opening engagements over towards the B side of the map. Hook trying to sneak out a broken, not going to happen. Brezzy follows up for his trade. Abuza still holding on to mid while the rest of the reinforcements for the Surge continue to get over towards Brezzy's direction. First tick done, second on the way. Not a stack though, so it is just Brezzy by himself on the point.
And they still want to try to maintain a little bit of that mid-map control. You can already see on your mini-map, players like Felony hitting this long route, trying to time this to perfection. Don't know if he's going to check right underneath him when he jumps over this wall, so Abuza should be able to catch a freebie, but the second segment is already done. The third is on the way, and here comes Abuza.
Has to follow up off of this in a big 1v1 win with Hook clearing out DVD. Extra 60 seconds on the mark. TJ, oh, good read. He must have his headset cranked. Are you kidding? So the snap is good, and now TJ knows that there's a threat through DVD, and he'll find a second as well.
Time has already been extended. TJ is able to find a double, so at least he gains the info that 2 players are coming off of the respawn. Where are the last 2 players from the Surge? They're trying to hold down that blue position to allow their teammates to get back into the play. Abuza is at least able to strike for 1, but Fellow over the top catches a spawner. And now you're just more focused on these players in the back of your spawn. You cannot allow Abuza to continue to slay you in your spawn.
Yeah, Fellow kind of in the similar position that we saw from Abuza last time around over towards Water Bridge. But he is by himself, and the Surge are deep through gas. Big first win. Gwyn follows up, taking the second and third. What a map we're starting to see coming out of Gwyn, 3 in a row. And all the meantime, Fellow stays, at least for the most part, safe over towards Water. Trade out as Gwyn gets to 4 in a row.
Yeah, Gwyn's on 4 in a row. Finds the ace right there in that moment. It's the reset button now for Surge. They are trapped in towards the backside of Palace, and look at all the ground that Ravens have taken away from them. You're already showing presence over towards B Street, but if you're TJ, you can't turn your back on that angle because they are forced to hit that overextension, so now they have an angle of attack.
Yeah, Fellow knows he's in trouble, tries to go 1-for-1, not going to be allowed to, and now you've got essentially all 4 Surge members running forward, trying to get up and towards Cafe. Maybe a chance with one more set of kills to get onto the A zone, but TJ off the respawn. Does well to stay alive. Follow up from Gwyn, looking for kill number 5. Clean with the pistol. Now it's just down to can he find kill number 6, and he's going to get some separation at mid to try to play his life a little while longer, looking for the cruise.
Yeah, just continuously play these corners. Make your life a lot more difficult to be found. So now he switches it up. Rezzy's not going to check it. Cruise missile earning the shots even better. The rookie of the year on 7 in a row. TJ across the map also finds the 3rd player. This is where you can tend to be aggressive with only 30 seconds left. Vancouver, you're going to waste at least 15 to even work out of your base.
Oh, big time. This has to go quickly and very successfully if you're Surge. No progress being made over towards A really at all this round as Gwyn continues to stay alive on this streak. Eventually shut down, but it just does not make a difference. Last one to find would be 04, and Beans, even though he's had a slower map, he's still letting them know about it. Fellow on the cross is making sure there is no more action for Surge in this offense.
Just flawless right there on the defensive side for Carolina. Even though Beans isn't shooting the best with his AR, you got the Rookie of the Year for a reason. He is stepping up tremendously in these moments. And in every single time you were trying to fight for that mid-map control, it was always TJ in a position playing for those trades. So the communication is on point right now for Carolina. Surge with their backs against the wall, already down by 3 segments. If you're Carolina, just go towards B. Extend the time early on again, and now you have a cruise missile to work with for your attack at A.
Absolutely, and then you could also guarantee yourself the round 5 defense with that as well. So I like the call. Play it safe, play it smart, don't do anything too cute. And that's exactly what's going to happen here, Jay. It's like you've played the game professionally once or twice.
You know, been around the block a couple times.
2 members on trophy system here. TJ for first blood, and this zone might just be gone right here.
Double stack going. You have one player in Brezzy contesting. He puts down great shots into Gwyn. Only 52 HP. Has to now play his life. But the repositioning and still knowing that Brezzy has yet to fall. Finally, he's going to be able to get that kill. That's now 3 dead in the feed. 2nd segment already going to be done. Can you try to contest this if you are Hook? But with that SMG in hand, those gunfights are not preferred.
Look, not to sound biased as a Charlotte resident, but this is a fun team to watch right now. This Raven squad is clicking. All these little micro movements playing off each other has been absolutely perfect in the respawn. And now you've got yourself a 3-life advantage, a cruise missile to play with. Gwyn is still finding kills across the map. If he gets this one with the pistol, oh my. Might lose my lid, but instead it's TJ to finish things off, and now Seattle, or pretty much again, Vancouver at the play around the backside of gas for Felony. He's waiting for him.
And look at Felony. He's just putting himself in the corner. He's waiting for the info off of the cruise missile before he decides to make his play. With all the comms are coming in, and Gwyn is actually able to connect onto one. Fellow is going to give up his positioning, putting down shots onto 04, not able to get the kill. And now if you are Vancouver, this is your main focus. You got to kill Felony.
Well, who clears out the front with the double. Brezzy not able to chase down Fellow, who tracks back over towards blue side, and he's got himself now on the regen with help moving through this OE position. And he actually hears the door pop from Hook, but the rival 9 in Hook's hands too strong as Vancouver now can set up their defense.
TJ again roaming around this middle of the map, playing his corners, finding another double kill. Gwyn as well finds the 3rd. So this is where it gets scary because no one's watching over to towards the street. So if you are Beans, you can get into the point for free. You would really love that cruise missile in this situation, but you got teammates watching your crosses.
I mean, Gwyn's a walking kill streak right now. 17-8, he's still locking down mid-map. You got Fellow watching the cross. Gwyn stuck on the reload. Awkward battle, and he still almost gets the better of Hook, but instead it's Vancouver finding the kills. Every single one of them, it's a full 4-man down. First tick gets locked, but again, that's pretty insignificant. This is just down to can Carolina 3-0 because they already guaranteed themselves round 5 defense.
Yeah, that's guaranteed now. You can't make up 7 segments in one offensive round. So if you are Carolina, can you potentially end this round out here to close it out in a 3-0? They are working this overextension. Big gunfight battle between TJ and Hoop. TJ does get the better of him, but more effective trades out of Surge, still holding down the map.
And this is an important final 40 seconds here for Vancouver. You've got a couple of players that have put together close to streaks, in particular Abuza now on 5. You need to get him number 6, big time. So he's gonna make a play up towards mid, and there it is, just wiggling around frontside mid tank, and Abuza starting to light things up, 19 and 11.
Only 20 seconds left. Carolina have 7 lives remaining. But simply not going to be enough time for them to even think about that A objective. But you also do not want to allow Surge to have a couple players going into this next round with a little bit of streaks. You do have 0-4 on 4 in a row. He's getting aggressive up through that water street. He's able to find his 4th. Can he make it 5? As he's able to spot the player, but time is running down. Carolina do not have any time to work out of their base, and 0-4 with the snap finds himself now on 5 in a row.
Yeah, for a second I thought he was going to get the immediate transfer over for number 6, but not going to happen. Regardless of that, Abuza gets cruise missile number 1. 0-4 now in a position to possibly earn cruise missile number 2. Those are the tools you need to go back-to-back offenses.
And it has to start, I think. You just have to extend this time early on. Give yourself multiple opportunities at that A point. So if you're going to stack over towards B, the initial gunfights are a big case to that. You can turn this game on its head. It's now with Abuza with that cruise on 7 in a row, trying to set up 0-4 for at least his 6 so he can have a second one. But you just got to work this B point early on as that first segment is coming in.
Yeah, and 0-4 is just going to play the pivot, man. He'll be the one to rotate in late if there is action over towards this B zone. Not needed, at least not as of yet. First pick already gone. TJ up top at Treehouse. Throwing some defensive consideration in towards what Vancouver tries to do on top of the zone, but this is all about kill number 6, and how about it? 0-4 is able to earn the second cruise missile, and with that, kills are good here for Surge.
And this is where you got to get aggressive. You have to transition over towards that A point. You can already see Abuza taking a lot of space in towards Cafe. He realizes you can't cross for free, so you want to try to play for a couple of those kills coming off the respawn. Unfortunately, he is going to get isolated, swarmed by the players on Carolina, but you still do have a couple players roaming around their spawn and Hoop.
And Vancouver's playing off each other so much better than we saw in the first 2 rounds. Now you've got Brezzy on 3, Hook on 2. Extra 60 seconds has been early added, and there may be a chance here for this double hit through the OE to work out. Abuza, I was about to say, nearly has a free angle on towards Fellow. Nade trying to follow up behind this, but 0-4 finds success around the back, and here come the Surge.
This might be an opportunity where you want to invest one of those cruise missiles, force them indoors, but they were ready for those engagements. Gwyn and TJ combined for 2. Now it's going to slow down the approach from Surge, and as well, Hoop does fall around Mannequin. So the last player alive is going to be Abuza, and the entire kill feed is all lit up in white. Carolina get a clean 4 dead, and now all their focus on the OE.
Oh, and Brezzy loses a key 1v1 versus B. So again, that OE continues to be contested. TJ putting in pressure over towards the front, but this cruise missile should find some impact. It takes care of TJ, but Gwyn's able to reset, still play over towards the bridge side, and I don't know if Vancouver are going to be fully aware of his reposition. They're looking for him over towards the A-bomb site. Now they know he's at bridge side. But 0-4 can really only do so much as Surge are stacked at Cafe looking to break through.
And the second cruise does get called in as well. Nothing able to connect on it, so everything that you had in your back pocket to potentially take this attacking round, you threw it all away. And at least 3 dead already. Hoop, the last player alive in towards Cafe. He's trying to make a play happen, but TJ catches the timing. And now if you're Surge with a minute left, no cruise missiles, and you have to work out of your base.
And 1v1 that goes the way of TJ, keeps this A streak completely contested and bottled up. 19 plays 15, 50 seconds on the clock. Surge resorting to playing as a full 4-man stack over towards the OE. Initial cross being watched by Beans. You've got Gwyn a little bit deeper. He's able to tally up the first kill, and now all of a sudden, you've got a pinch on the way from Fellow. I mean, this has just been such a quick response for Carolina finding the kills on this pinch.
Yeah, this is probably going to be their last opportunity, and they need a couple kills to make it even possible. Booz is at least able to find that trade on the Fellow. 0-4 off the respawn, is able to catch a second. But this is where you continuously have to be aggressive. The kills have to go your way. Abuza setting the tone. Can he find this second? That would have been massive, but Gwyn with the team kill. Doesn't matter. Still shoots straight, takes down 0-4 as well.
Has to be Brezzy, and well, he's been dealt with by TJ. 10 seconds on the clock. Surge have to sprint. Gwyn holding over towards the A-bomb site. Is able to tally at least some information that there are players across the middle, and that will do it. What a map from the Carolina Royal Ravens. 3-1 the count, and they take the edge of the series.
That is unreal right there out of Carolina. Both of the SMGs who pulled out that 3rd and 4th AR really set the tone. TJ, multiple double kills around that middle of the map, but Gwyn just playing so damn annoying around that Cafe area. He earns himself the cruise missile, doesn't really even need to invest it for the game to have any difference. Carolina was just slaying, dominating with that map control. Seattle Surge, especially in that round number 1, looked a little out sync. Like, it was just 2 players for spawn kills, thinking that we were going to get the trade. That was the turning point of the game, the fact that Gwyn made that play happen.
I think it's just an extension of what we were talking about map number 1, just this is Exhibit B. You know, Carolina are just playing off each other so darn well. It's not allowing Vancouver to get the setups that they want, whether that be on the break attempts from the opening hardpoint on 6-star, or even here, whether it be on defense or offense, they're just not able to control the map the way that they maybe used to. I know it's kind of a weird phrase to say, but it does feel like Carolina's controlling every bit of these maps in Respawn.
It's because if you think about the way that Surge love to play in their respawns, they like to play with tremendous pacing. And right now, when you're walking into the pre-aims of these players, these guys are sitting in certain corners. It's catching you off guard in these moments. And then you're looting those trade fights. Those first initial pushes are getting shut down, and you're forced to hit the reset. Then you start to panic. I thought right there in that final round, it was a little bit of panic mode.
Yeah.
Because you have two cruise missiles coming in, two players coming off the respawn. They're all the way at Palace. They're not going to be into the play, even if you find a kill. Just right now, Surge seem to be out of sync, and Carolina are taking full advantage of it. Now up 2-1 into the series, have the opportunity to send them home packing if they can walk away with this Rio coming up next.
And I will say, just to kind of throw another instance of, exemplifying what we're talking about here, Beans, I think, finished 10 and 22, but he had second highest damage on his squad. So again, they're playing off each other beautifully. Even if Beans isn't finishing off the kill, someone else is turning into 2, 3 in a row. Almost every single time, it feels like. So again, it just feels like this Ravens team, I don't know if it's just instant chemistry or if they've been able to work out some of the stuff with Beans in the mix, but regardless of it, it's working.
We talk about the honeymoon stage, man. It's always a thing in Call of Duty. When you bring in a fresh player who's ready to rock, who's ready to go out there and showcase his abilities, even though he's not putting up the best performance, when you talk about the statistic, he did it in map number 1. So you know the guy can shoot straight, but he's putting down the damage, setting up his teammates for these freebie kills. And they're just completely outclassing Surge right now in that teamwork aspect so far into this series. But now it gets a little bit scary if you are Carolina, because Rio on the season has not treated them well.
Sure.
3-10 overall record. You're going up against a very fast-paced Surge roster who love themselves some tight SMG maps.
I just don't know if you care right now if you're Carolina what the history was, because what's happening right now here in the present has been a present. It's been a bit of a gift to see this Ravens team play as well as they do. But you're absolutely right. In terms of how you bring this series back, if you're Vancouver, you go, all right, let's get to work. Let's throw away the mindset that we just carried in that last map, and let's just absolutely take over early here in this Rio hardpoint.
Yeah, and I think if the adjustments that you need to make if you are Carolina, because they are one of the more middle-of-the-pack teams, so you talk about that rotation, break percentage as well around the middle of the pack, but their hold percentage is very tough, especially when you're going up against one of the top breaking teams that we have on the map in Surge. You know how fast they can play. They tend to not really think about that rotation because they're always trying to just run around the map, play all these kills, but at certain points in this game, you have to make sure that you're slowing the game down. There's money hills, like the P3s and the P4s, where you need to put yourself in a better position to start off with that initial time if you are Surge.
And I think, just to put a little bit of a spotlight on maybe one player in particular, I'm looking at Fellow here, to kind of be the guy that can, okay, let's take a beat, let's get ourselves out of a good rotation, lock down lanes, and actually win fights. Because, let's be candid, there have been some hard points where we really haven't seen the Fellow that we kind of came to know in Stage 4, whether that be on the online qualifiers or at the major itself. So, need to see him, I think, really step up and make sure that Beans has some help here in terms of how the ARs start to move around the map.
Yeah, he did it in map number 1. Even though he didn't put up as many kills as Beans or as many kills as Gwen, he was the player early off the rotation with about 20 to 25 seconds, thinking of how he can walk away with the W at the very end.
Yep.
But as we take a look at the head-to-head stats between map number 1, obviously Gwen and Beans really set the tone. 41 kills is insane, 2.14 KD, and then when you thought Beans was starting to pull away, Gwen comes alive. The rookie of the year, 1.48, almost 6K's damage between both of those players. They come out and play like that, this is over.
72 and 38 combined, bro.
That's nuts, man.
What? Stupid. Unreal things. So that's, again, the big problem here for Vancouver. You saw it kind of on the drive-by with our cam operators. What's on the line is not just elimination, but that key possibilities of being crushed at the hands of the Royal Ravens. So let's jump on into the action, friends. Rio, Hardpoint, Vancouver, Carolina, fighting for their lives.
Jumping into the mix fest of this early P1, it's going to be Carolina spawning on the preferred side to at least get a little bit of this time. And they are winning all of the trade fights. A clean 4 dead right there from the Ravens, starting off on the right foot.
I'll say. And now all of a sudden, you've got players like Fellow watching long crosses. You've got Beans also doing the same thing with an SMG. Does get caught by surprise. 04 slips the net. Opportunity for maybe a break attempt to come through as there are Surge members here amassing from the front. Gwen up top trying to play off angles, but at least forces out a teammate to come through. Fellow on the cross, back into the mix, and as he does, he takes down Brezzy, and it's more time earned for Carolina.
And that's where, if you are Surge, you find that initial kill through Bottomeskis. It's a 4v3 scenario. Let's just go up in there and try to play these trades, but when a team kill happens, it slows it down. And now Carolina are taking full advantage of it. Flawless here at this P1. Final 5 seconds to fight for. You can already see Felony making those plays early off the rotation in a one-on-one engagement between him and 04.
He wins the first, but Hook comes to save the day for Vancouver, who will still spawn on the right side of the map. Trying to push the issue is Hook just a touch, shut down. Brezzy going to take the cross now off boxes. But Vancouver very comfortable here inside P2 setup.
They have all their bases covered. You have Hook watching his deep pinch, but he is going to get some bad timing. But at the same time, TJ does put down a couple shots, but is able to get the better of him. Thankfully, you got the safety net in Brezzy, holding down his box position. Realizing that his teammates are still going to be spawning at least close to the hill, but now the spawns flip. Brezzy falls. You're going to be spawning all the way across the map, and Carolina instantly here for the break.
Really good stuff from 04. Oh my! I mean, we're talking half HP being hit from multiple angles, and 04 starts to light things up. 4 in a row. Carolina still spawning in the back. Not what you want right here as you look towards the transition from 2 to 3.
Yeah, this is the rookie that I'm definitely looking to try to take over here on a map like Rio. He loves to roam with that Rival 9 in hand. He gives his team an opportunity to still try to contest this towards the very end, and they win the rotation over towards New. So now Surge in the driver's seat. Carolina spawning all the way across the map. It's going to take a little bit of time before they can even contest it.
Hook mid-map. Yeah, really well done. Shuts down the cross through mid. Spawns are still good for 04 as Vancouver, once again, comfortable in their opening setup. Next hit for Carolina going to be split. 2 through street side, and others just looking for some sort of an entry to get around the back of this play.
Yeah, we're challenging 1 by 1. Both the ARs fall over towards bridge side, so that's already your first bases covered. Now you just got to worry about this overextension.
They know.
TJ has potentially found the angle, but you're not going to get caught slipping when you're getting every single player on the left side of your mini-map. You have also pressure in towards top mid, but Felony and Gwyn, they combine for 3. The spawns are still going to be here for Surge, but Carolina are in.
Yeah, this is, again, awareness from Surge spawning on that top left side of the map. They know that there's going to be a hit over towards the bottom. 15 seconds to fight for. Beans, Carolina still fighting from inside the hill, and TJ has the last word. Now it's just down to this rotation. As spawns flip hands once again, Hook will be the one kind of going, I won't say rogue, but he's trying to make a solo play happen on an island. He will slow down this rotation to touch for Carolina.
Yeah, he wins the one-on-one on the back, and now you have to put the focus on the back end, and Hook is able to get the better of Fellow as well. So what looked to be like Carolina were going to win the rotation over towards New. An instant break comes in. Now Surge take the lead by a little bit. They realize where the pressure is coming in. 04 going to challenge over towards the hot dog stand. Cannot be successful in those gunfights. And now in the 2v4, you got to ice up.
Problem is, you've got success for Surge inside the hill, and the spawns are going to flip. This may be an opportunity for Brezzy to help out over through ramp side, but Carolina went out the hill. Now it's just down to taking care of Brezzy, who's trying to predict the top corner, but that's not where it is. Doesn't make a difference. 04 is there with them, and then re-break comes through immediately for Vancouver.
There's still a lot of time here to fight for. Good chunk of time, 25 seconds to go. And it's still Surge holding on for now, but TJ trying to make something happen, and Gwyn through boxes. He's going to turn it into a 1v1, and 04 with the Rival 9 is able to secure the final remaining junk time. Now you're going to force Carolina early off that rotation over towards New, where they got to make up this game clock.
And this is a moment like you were talking about in the pre-map setup where Carolina are taking a moment. Don't let this tempo take control of you. Get yourself a decent setup. Team kill gets forced, but still, Vancouver through the middle of the map, finding success, and that route from 04 is masterclass. 5 in a row, looking for kill number 6, and they have full awareness that Carolina are spawning backside P3.
They're just way too fast right now around the map for Carolina. You either have to match the pace or slow it down. And right now with 04 sitting on 5 in a row, the rest of the team still holding it down. Carolina trying to close the series out and forward a potential comeback. Let's step aside and go to listening with Carolina.
Down together, guys. Down together. Wait.
And you on me?
No, drift on. No, drift on.
And one's our bridge there still, and one in you.
No, drift on, guys. Down one.
I need a time, hold on.
What, front 2 time, 1 really weak. Go to bridge stairs, 2 bridge.
One top mid, 04. 04 top mid.
Bridge stairs.
04 top mid. Nice, good job. More bridge stairs.
I'm taking the deep route, bro.
Okay.
Stop solo chat.
Work for mid with me.
Chow together, bro. Wait.
I'm stunning our top SCs.
I'm waiting on the right here.
Arcade one shot. He went boxes. Boxes. 04. He's in boxes in the corner.
They flip me.
Yeah, same amount too. I'm gonna play bridge with you, Isaiah.
He's got boxes, bro. I'm not playing bro. He's side door, ramp. 04.
One shot Esky, Boozer.
Backside bridge.
Top you.
Soda.
I'll go
running around.
Top you, Hugh. Top you, Hugh.
I don't see you.
I'm gonna come side door.
No, bridge stairs.
He's P2 on me, bro.
I'm nading soda.
I'm stunned.
Well, you want to figure out where the tempo and the timing start to kind of go awry for Carolina. Every time they try to put together a break, they're losing track of the pinch. I mean, legitimately, the SMGs for Vancouver are just running in from the side and finding multi-kill after multi-kill.
And this is the same issue that they had versus Optic Gaming yesterday. Losing track of those SMGs is causing them problems. You can already see Bean saying, okay, guys, we got to chow together. But every time they're going for a chow, a pinch is coming in. Vancouver are coming out swinging. They do not want to go home here. They're going to be able to breach that 200-point mark, and they're still not slowing down. Final 10 seconds, they're at P1, but finally Carolina, with those kills in the feed, are going to have an opportunity to properly set up at this P2.
Need to find a first opener here if you're Carolina. Good route being hit, but even still, Fellow doesn't win that gunfight off screen versus Pressy. He would have had first shots in. Cruise missile gets called, and now the surge from the front are finding success. Brezzy, pistol out, not gonna win the initial, but the damage is easy enough to allow Abuza to get a trade, and the hold will be tested here for Carolina respawning in.
And Carolina still in, able to withstand that cruise missile coming in. So securing those back spawns. But here comes the pinch again from one of the SMG players, this time with the MCW. Unreal. Catches the timing, finds the first, finds the second. Able to at least make it a little bit easier for a potential break for his teammates from that front side. It's going to be Fellow, last player alive. He falls, and it's already job well done. Trying to keep him as much as you possibly can off of this hardpoint, because you already have the spawns for that new hardpoint.
Every pinch has been a double kill at least for the side of Vancouver. That one may have been just a window of timing, but here's Hook again. Guess where? On the pinch. That's now some very crucial scrap time for Vancouver to just very comfortably put the map away here with their setup on P3.
I feel like this has been the story of the Ravens throughout the entire season. When they are playing against SMGs who are playing like this, we used to tend to not find a lot of success. As Surge are looking to close out the game here, potentially at this P3. Again, another route being hit out of 04. His teammates are waiting around this box's area. Brezzy effective on the trade, but 04 catches the timing.
There's one. Abu and Fellows stuck in the corner. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It's legitimately flanks and pinches has been the key to success for the side of the Vancouver Surge. Carolina will get above the 100-point threshold, but now you've got Brezzy playing over towards Eskies unguarded. He's able to find an opener. Now the SMGs can fly. I mean, it is rinse, wash, repeat. Maybe they're born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Oh, my God. And 04 is able to find a double with the wall bang. Fellow responds with 2 of his own, but now the spawns do flip. So Vancouver are going to walk away with that final 10 seconds. They're already showing a lot of presence over towards this new hardpoint, and they have boxes in control. Carolina, they need a break, and they need it quick.
It's legitimate. Like the script has flipped from map number 1.
Yep.
This is how Carolina were finding success on 6-star, and it's surprising to see it just immediately come back to bite them on a map like Rio. Cruise missile called in will be the nail in the coffin here for map number 4, as no one for the Ravens will get here in time, and we will see all 5 maps between Vancouver and Carolina in the series.
Fantastic way to start the day as Vancouver come out swinging. They keep their tournament hopes alive, and at least are able to force the game 5. But that was dominant, man. That was dominant. When we jumped to a listen, you can just tell that Carolina seemed a little flustered. Being just sitting there, all right, guys, let's group up. Let's go for team chows. Okay, where's 04? He was just at boxes. Now he's all the way at Eskies. Now he's all the way at Bridge.
Yep.
Just losing track of players has always been an issue for this Carolina roster when you talk about the hard points. And Surge force game 5.
And I think the thing, too, on top of this, for the side of the Vancouver Surge, is when they get the rotation win, AR watches left, AR watches right, and then it's just a passing of the baton between the SMGs of, I'm going to help support this side, you go hit a flank if you're Hook. Oh, never mind, now I got to do that, and all of a sudden 04 hits the opposite side. It's just the timing of when they know they have numbers advantages. It's like they're opting to take 3v4s on the hill, and then letting that 4th guy open up the map wherever they see the opportunity to do so.
That's beautifully played right there out of Vancouver. Disregarding the player who's trying to hold down an angle to open up for that first kill, realizing where all the pressure's coming in and playing their man-up advantages to perfection. Obviously, it was a slow map right there from Carolina, especially out of the ARs. It's just, you could never get anything going. You're coming off the respawn, Felony was getting taken down by cruise missiles. You're coming off the respawn, you're instantly getting shot in the back by Hugo 04 and then popping a double. So they're always putting themselves in these man advantage moments, especially on these SMG maps. They were happy as hell to see Rio get through for that map number 4.
Yep.
Now there's an invasion between both of these squads to stand to see who gets top 4.
What are you thinking about that map coming up here? Invasion Surge, map 5.
Well, Vancouver, so far in the season, are what? 7-0 in Search and Destroy versus Carolina?
Yep.
I know Tyler Fellow, he's a phenomenal Search and Destroy player. Beans as well. Gwyn does have his moments. But if you are TJ, you have the opportunity now to right the wrongs of that bad cruise missile in map number 2. but the battle of the First Bloods was the story. It might be it as well on Invasion.
Very well could be the case. Just kind of looking at the history, 10-6 overall in the season are Vancouver on the map. 7-5 though for Carolina. It's been one of their better search and destroy maps. Now again, the stats aren't going to maybe mean as much. The only other impacting thing, and I was thinking you were going to go to this, was the fact that smoke grenades will be available here on this map number 5. So I think there's going to be a lot more focus about how these SMGs work with the extra utility. I think in particular around the mid tank.
The mid-tank is everything on a map like Invasion, especially on the defensive side. You take mid-tank control, you're able to freely work that bomb plan over towards A, and then that's basically GG on the round. But for these SMGs who love to get aggressive up to broken, I'm talking about the Gwins, I'm talking about the 04s. Investing that smoke grenade early on at B Street, not giving them any information on how many players on that side of the map, slowing down that attacking approach is probably going to be the recipe for success here for either squad.
Okay. Should be interesting, I think, just as this being the battleground in particular, let alone the history that lingers between these two squads in Search and Destroy in particular, let alone on a map like Invasion. The smoke grenades, as we already talked about a lot throughout the weekend, this is the only map that the teams are playing with it due to the live patch being the smokes are strong.
Yeah, they're big, massive.
They're absolutely massive. So Carolina's going to try to talk it over just a touch. And I think the extra life in Beans brings a lot to the table. So we'll see if that could stay composed as we head into, again, no double elimination. It is do or die time here at map number 4 in Invasion Surge, and we come back on the backside of the break.
You ever wondered how a Hollywood movie is shot? On a Sony. You review it on a Sony. And how do you make that sound epic? You record it on a Sony. Lunch break on a Sony. So why wouldn't you watch it on a Bravia by Sony?
Welcome back to our opening quarterfinal matchup. Vancouver taking on Carolina, map 5. Jay, lots on the line. This is one of our final events for Modern Warfare 3, but there's more than just the prestige based on this particular matchup.
Oh yeah, we're going into a Game 5 Search and Destroy where a bunch of these players have been playing SnD wages. They play for like $50, $100, but imagine playing an SnD map for $80,000 difference. So you best believe the pressure is going to be on. This is the head-to-head matchup that we have between TJ and Abuza. TJ obviously led the column when you talk about those opening duel win percentage, but he fumbled towards the very end of the game. And Abuza with that AR in hand, he's always going to put himself in a position to either find that first one or at least find that contested trade.
Should be a really fun one. I think in particular to see how often those two find each other on the map. And that's the motto of the entire event. Absolutely nothing. Granted, everything will have to be earned. $80,000 for one map of Search and Destroy. Potentially 11 rounds to finish off your year for Modern Warfare 3.
That's insane, man. And it's on a map like Invasion where you know that the game tends to slow down a lot. Attacking rounds are very difficult because you have to play for the information that you're able to gain early on how the defensive setup is looking like. But it might just come down to the calculated risk. Who is able to outduel the other? 0-4 between Gwyn is the matchup that I'm looking forward to watching.
Should be a fun one. 11 more rounds potentially of action for one of these two squads before their year comes to an end. Lots of money on the line, but of course the opportunity to keep your tournament going and really have a chance to find yourself a payday. Stakes don't get much higher than this, friends. Let's jump on in. Map number 5, Vancouver and Carolina for the Invasion Search. Let's get it on.
And then early on, it's going to be the Surge on the attacking side. What do Carolina look on their defensive setup? It's looking like a double stack over towards B. Yeah, players like Fellow watching mid-courtyard. They tried to get early info, but now they're just playing a split map setup, just trying to get early in.
Very passive. And you can see this is kind of a response tactic for the side of Carolina. Not having trophies, you just don't want to get naded out of that tank position. So you've got number 7 and Beans watching the cross through mid. You have a really passive angle for Fellow. And then on top of the bomb, Gwyn is just watching to see if anyone challenges over through Dark Alley. This is a very passive setup.
Yeah, keep in mind, Carolina have basically not used any of their attacks yet. So they're waiting for the push to come in over towards B. The smoke grenade gets invested, but look at how aggressive Hook gets through it. Not able to find that kill, gonna throw the nade. He finds the first blood.
Trying to get out, not gonna be allowed to. TJ finds the kill. Watch for the quick pinch though. Gwyn is in dark. 0-4 gives away his position. Good shots from TJ, but 4 HP left. Now Gwyn trying to make his move, but he gets seen from Abuza, who's watching the pinch the entire time. Quick action. Now the defensive smoke comes through. Do they get a chance to flip this all the way back around? Is there enough time? Brezzy's stuck into a corner. Somehow still up, but Vancouver to come back to him.
And he's the bomb carrier, so you got to try to keep him alive as long as you possibly can. TJ in a very crucial spot if he can find this kill, but Brezzy gets the better of him. 10 seconds to go, you got to plant.
And Fellow, I think he knows that that's the bomb carrier, but it does get picked up. The reset on the angle. And that's enough for Abuza to get the plant. Fellow coming quickly, stops the exit from happening, but does he know where the last player is? No, he doesn't. Fellow caught by surprise, but has a chance to turn. It almost does with the pistol. Ooh, that would have been a tone setter, but instead it's Vancouver who get the opening attack.
The fact that 0-4 was still alive at the end of that round, keep in mind when he jumps back over towards that Cage's area, he only has 4 HP and a dream. He's able to stay alive, keep his team at a man advantage. Felony turns it into a one-on-one, but just simply reads the play wrong. Thinking that he walked his way in towards Ice Cream, but 0-4 was playing the tractor. It got scary in that final engagement, but 0-4 gets the better of him. But it all starts off with Hook being the nuke, walking through a smoke grenade to strike first.
And I love that tempo and aggression for Vancouver, getting a read that they can get a deep smoke down. That just puts Carolina's defense out of commission. So a good first blood tally leads to a successful round, although it did come in dramatic form. Now we get Carolina's first attempt. TJ, bomb carrier and smoke player. How does he choose to run this one up? Keep in mind, rival 9 in hand here, so there very well may be some aggression being shown, especially with Gwyn getting all the way over towards Cage.
Yeah, they're already showing a lot of presence over towards B, so how do Vancouver handle this situation? It's both the SMGs ready to strike through mid-dark. You have Beans all the way across the map, playing for that deep pinch, but TJ strikes for that first blood. Now you can start to work that objective, but he doesn't see the door be cracked.
Or maybe he did, and just allowed him to stay there. Shuts the door back onto his face. Abuza able to find the trade, though. So this would be a 1v3, now turned into a 1v2. Bomb is down, and there is a little bit of space for Abuza to play with, just 33 seconds on the clock.
Right now, Carolina are just waiting it out. Trying to get an early read on what he is doing, but Abuza cracks the door thinking that the bomb is definitely going to get planted. Gives him his positioning, and then that forces the repositioning out of Beans. So the bomb is going to go down. Beans just putting down cover fire.
He knows where both players are now, but those tags do not really allow Abuza to confirm that Fellow had moved either back towards Cage or up towards Tractor. Beans still the first one to watch this cross. Abuza trying to find some ground to work with, looking for isolation, can't make contact with anybody. It's just shoulders being thrown for Carolina, and that's a really good response for the Ravens.
Starts off with that first blood, man. It was the answer in that Search and Destroy of the game number 2. Seattle Surge were more successful in that category, so they walked away victorious, but it was a first blood in round number 1 for Vancouver. They take it. This time it's Carolina. They respond, tied up at 1.
Good, I would say just good dissections of the B site for both these attacks. Definitely something to keep in the back of our mind here. We are hearing, though, that the lobby, I think you guys all saw, a little bit of frame action going on. Will have us resetting here. So 1-1 the count. Any other takeaways in those first 2 rounds for you, Jay, kind of evaluating what might happen coming forward?
It was Gwyn. You remember that first round where Gwyn decides to time his flank and unfortunately runs into 3 players from the Seattle Surge. They were prepared for that gunfight. Just those calculated risks that we talked about before the map started. They had to try to go your way. You have to realize that in these moments, the pressure is going to be very, very high. Those little mistakes you cannot afford to have. Battle of the First Bloods is always a big thing, but that's, so far, both teams are playing really soft and that B setup. So you might want to change that one up, put someone aggressively in towards Broken.
I think you can understand it for Carolina's side, no trophies. You just want to make sure you're not getting naded out. But I think you're right in terms of the follow-up decision-making. Instead of trying to pinch through dark, maybe now you have to go all the way around DVD to make sure you stay safe on that defensive retake opportunity, because Abuza was locking it down the whole way through.
Yeah, and it's the same way in the opposing side for Beans, because there's 3 players attacking over towards B. You have 2 island players watching that deep pinch. Just depends on if you could find the timing or the angles to work your way around behind enemy lines to potentially open up for that first kill. But now we're going to hit that reset where trophy systems, again, not going to be on either side. Carolina going back to the defensive end, where I'm expecting them to invest a smoke grenade to take more ground away from them.
That's fair.
Make these rounds on the attacking side for those teams stall out a lot longer.
That's fair. Or otherwise, if you're not going to play aggressive over towards B Street, maybe you need to commit instead of Beans wrapping back over. He's got to cut through with Gwyn. Oh, okay. So we're actually hearing from production right now that the issue in round number 2 will actually have us resetting with just a 1-0 count for the side of Vancouver. So that second round will be replayed, essentially.
Okay. All right. So you will take that if you are Surge without question. In a 1v2 scenario, even if he wasn't lagging, most likely will lose that round due to the setup that Carolina had. But Seattle Surge are going to be the team going up 1-0 off of this reset. Just want to make sure the game plan is ready to rock. Communication on point. Beans trying to let everybody know of how they are playing on both ends so far. It's just about minimizing those little mistakes.
Sure, and I think it's not even, I don't even want to necessarily use the word mistake. It's just decision-making that you just get caught. You know, it's, you know, you've got an idea and it just gets countered. I mean, that's just the chess game that we see right now. Hard to really kind of label and cement any particular phrase over how things have gone, considering we've only seen 2-ish rounds, not even a full second, technically speaking. But I think you're right in terms of a lot of the focus for both these 2 teams being over towards the B side of the map. We don't often see a lot of engagement early towards A from either side. I don't think defensively there's really anyone that stands out in terms of we expect this player to always play aggressive into Cafe for those crossing angles. At least none that come to mind. Maybe 0-4, depending on if he wants to use a Rival 9 or an MCW on the defensive side of the map. But again, it's hard for us to sit there and say that here's a trend, here's a pattern that we need to watch out for yet.
And I think it's just early information that they're able to gain off of the crosses as well. You're jumping off of the attacking side, jumping through mid-tank to see if anyone's pushing up through mid-courtyard, or if they're trying to play around that mid-tank, and at the same time over towards B Street, realizing, okay, they didn't cross to the backside of Bomb. There's no smoke grenade, no one crossing into Broken. So we can take this side away from them, use that smoke grenade to put ourselves on towards the site, and then try to stay alive from all the attacks that are going to get invested, because neither team so far has really thrown stuns or nades right off the rip.
Yeah, that's a good point. And again, utility usage over through the middle of the map is going to be available again with us this restart coming out with no trophy systems being down. So we'll see what Carolina decides to do on what will technically be their second attempt offensively. But again, this is their first offense based on how the scorer is going to work out.
But they might have a different game plan now, because this time they don't have any trophy systems to keep alive over towards that 8 points. So they're probably going to slow down this attacking round just a bit, play off the early information that they're able to gain. You just cannot allow 0-4 and Hook to dominate around that mid-map area.
All right. Well, you can see it. Everyone leaning forward to touch. We're about to lock on in. Again, just as a repeat, due to the couple of issues in round number 2, it will still be a 1-0 round advantage right now for Vancouver. So Carolina's going to get an immediate second attempt at their first offense here as we jump on back into map number 5.
We're already loading into the game. Carolina.
Whoa.
Back on the attacking side, and Abuza all the way across the map. They find that first split. They send 3 players up through the water street. They take that side of the map away from them, and now Carolina are forced to commit over towards B.
This is a good gut check call, though. I think there's a call from the side of B saying that was more than one set of nades. So they're trying to get aggressive over towards the B side of the map, knowing that at worst they've got a 2v1 over here. They show pressure, but they don't commit to B. They're looking to see if they can catch the defense on a rotation around the back.
Oh, and the bomb was potentially going to get put down, but Abuza is watching that cross two from a different angle, and Brezzy is able to strike. Now you're going to set up Hook on this deep pinch. It's a 2v4, Felony and Gwyn left to try to clutch on up.
Yeah, that was kind of a crossing of the minds right there, where we either wait on the backside of the play to see if we catch the defense crossing, or we get aggressive to bully out the sole defender at B. Neither really working out, at least not convincingly as of yet. Vancouver now pushing forward. They know exactly where the final member is, and that will be a quick round for the side of the Surge.
Yeah, and I thought Carolina were going to throw a different look right there.
I thought so, too.
You just played the same exact attacking round that you did previously, and Beans was putting down shots over at that gas station area. So the communication from Surge is like, okay, they're probably going to throw the same look. If Beans challenges over towards the water street, everybody invest your nades for that first blood. And at the same time, you already had Hook the Nuke pushing his way in towards Mannequin. TJ spots him on the cross, and he knows he can't give up that flank for free. He's just relying on his teammates to find a little bit of success over at that B site, but they find none. Vancouver up 2-0.
Yeah, impressive opening set of nades for the Surge, but of course, Brezzy holding his life may have been the catalyst for that round coming through. So again, 2-0 now the count for Vancouver. Onto their second offensive effort, and they are heading in towards Cafe early here. Hook with an SMG in hand will be the one to kind of set the pace, set the tone, and see if they can open something up, as now you've got stuns and nades being tossed over in day.
He just want to make sure no SMGs are going to be playing close, but he does get a hit marker with that nade. So I don't know if he's going to slide out, preparing for him to be close by, but he was able to connect onto Gwyn mid-courtyard. The smoke goes down. Hook sitting at 83 HP. It's time for Gwyn to strike.
Broken system gets placed. Hook is able to stay alive with that. Vancouver worried about the backside of the flank, but there's not enough space for Hook to commit for a plant. They're looking to see if they can catch anyone on the cross, and they do catch Gwyn inside mid-park. That's enough for likely Hook to try to go for the plant.
No, they still do not have mid-tank. They need mid-tank if they want to work this A objective. So you see the timing from Brezzy, slowly working his way up through B Street, but 0-4 gets the better of TJ. Now Hook's turn to find that third kill of the round. Bomb getting planted, 1v4 now for Felony.
Yeah, and they know where he's at. Shots are already landing, and that is a flawless round for Vancouver. I mean, a lot of it looked like the opening nades were not just enough for Vancouver to commit to A, but I thought initially Carolina's defensive nades were going to be able to say, hey, we got tags, let's push into the smoke, but instead they don't, and that's where it kind of falls apart.
Yeah, as soon as they decide to not push into that smoke grenade, and when the smoke dissipates, you can put yourself in an angle where Gwyn goes for that chow, thinking that the bomb is going to get planted and then get picked off early. But then that's what I love about Surge, especially in Search and Destroy on a map like Invasion. They're sitting at one of the bottom teams at when you're finding successful plants. They barely plant the bomb. They only plant the bomb when they know it's absolutely safe. And once they take that mid-tank control, it was GG's. 3-0 so far for Surge.
Gwyn getting aggressive, though, through Broken. Defense for Vancouver, largely playing likely for maybe even that rewrap again. You can see what Carolina are doing, though. They're very aware of that possibility. Beans watching one side. Initially, Fellow was watching something a little bit tighter. But now the focus for Carolina is seeing if they can get Brezzy out of position with these nades. I believe a stun lands, but it's not enough to dissuade Brezzy from holding the angle.
And Hook the entire time is giving the comms, and thankfully you got a player like Brezzy, who even though if he falls here, taking down one is already job dealt, well done. But he's still staying alive. There's another gunfight right in front of him between him and Gwyn. Don't want to give this one up for free, but Hook catches the timing onto Beans. Instant 4v2.
Just sees the barrel of the gun and is alerted towards it. More support for the former Wobabobs duo here on the B side as Abuza continues to lay down shots over towards the backside of Cage. Now 0-4 joins the party, and wow. These have been as perfect as it gets for Vancouver.
They are just gaining the info very early into these rounds.
Yeah.
When they're getting super aggressive over towards Cafe, you're watching that initial cross over towards B. Then when you realize, like, okay, Beans got first blooded with that nade over the top side of that tank, he's not playing that positioning anymore. They have to be committing over towards this B site. And the fact that Brezzy's able to get one, play his life to perfection, allows his teammates to work that deep pinch, find that second kill, and then trap them over towards that B side. This has been absolute perfection when you talk about the strategies that Surge are coming in with.
Hook just having a little bit of peripheral vision to see Beans down low is also one of those moments where if it goes the other way, maybe Carolina can continue to push on forward, but not the case. So now a lot of ground that has to be made up for Carolina. not just finding rounds, not finding kills. It's just been everything turning up in favor of Surge, who have taken a bit of a pause here, trying to play a little bit slower, seeing if, again, they can find the early info on where the Carolina Royal Ravens are set up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Brezzy was able to spot a couple players cross over towards Broken, so not try to attack this side of the map for free, but at the same time, Abuza taking space over on the opposite side of the map, finds that first blow.
Oh my God.
Is able to set up the snap for the second. Another 1v4, this time for TJ.
That is borderline greedy, but it doesn't make a difference when you're snapping like that. Oh, mercy. 5-0 up our Vancouver, and wow, you can see just the faces fall for Carolina.
They're just completely countering them every single time. They said, okay, 2 people cross over towards B, so you're not as strong around that middle of the map. And if you're not that strong around the middle of the map, someone is picking up that angle. They're barely putting focus over towards Water Street. Abuza is able to find that timing for the first blood, also finds the second. And then the last 2 players remaining in towards Broken simply stand no chance. Abuza taking the ground away. Beautiful shots onto Gwyn. That's now, what, 5? What are they at, 4-0, 5-0? Yeah, game point now for Surge.
And 0-4 is on 5 in a row. So, I mean, this is one of those rounds where Carolina, you may just say, well, we just got to do something, just get some kills, try to find a way to create some momentum here. Opening trade does come through, but where do you go from here? And the defensive setup is still very comfortable for Vancouver.
Yeah, they wanted to switch it up this time around because every single round, Vancouver have been able to take that cafe control away from them, so they don't have an opportunity to rotate back over towards A. And now they're showing presence on this side of the map. You already know that Brezzy loves to play solo man at that B point.
Oh,
Beans is able to get the better of one all the way across the map. Now you're going to start to work this play.
Oh, little jump up. 0-4 at least catches the noggin of one player trying to play through this mid-tank contest. But he's got to worry about the bomb as well. And there's kill number 6. Does he get out? Oh, he nearly gets back into the closet. Not to happen. Brezzy looking for the trade. Shots are out, but cannot fully connect for the kill. Time becoming an issue here, though. And Brezzy, he tries to predict the rotation back. And now it's just down to does he get the check. Opening shots are decent, but the kill is through, and Carolina get there first.
Yeah, way to switch up on the attacking round this time. Not show a lot of presence over towards B. Trade effectively in towards Cafe. Give yourself opportunities at either side if you wanted to commit to it. But then once Beans is able to take down Abuza on the backside of that courtyard, you put yourself in the man advantage. You take control of that mid-tank area, even though you allowed 0-4 to get that kill. And now in the back of your mind, he has a cruise missile to work with.
Yep.
So Surge still at game point, have everything in front of him.
You just pop it right now, take this thing home?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I would pop it instantly over towards that B site, force them to be aggressive over through Cafe, have like 2 players watching a pinch, and just work that plant insta.
Well, you can see what Carolina are doing here. Quick focus over towards Dark Alley, in towards Broken for a lot of this B defense, predicting that there's going to be some sort of a call-in for the crews to be played. And here it comes, 0-4 playing inside of this back bus stop position. Speeds up the cruise, tosses it backside ice cream. Doesn't find any connection, but that should be some mid-map control. Question marks, though, here as Carolina are able to essentially reset.
And they didn't want to contest them in towards Cafe. They realized that there was at least 2 players around that area. You don't want to put yourself in those engagements when you realize where all of them are. But this time it's 0-4's opportunity to try to take over towards the Water Street. Positioning now known. Got to invest in smoke to get out.
Lots of Water Street control coming through. Gwyn trying to work on that. Oh, the timing here is beautiful for Gwyn. Could he take this to more than 1, though? The pre-fire decent, but 0-4 with the trade. Slide through for Fellow. And now all of a sudden, Fellow's on 3 in a row. Almost takes the better of Hugh, who now has to work his way through the remaining parts of this 1v3. Nade over towards mid-tank. Clears the space, and he's going to get the post plant.
Bomb is going to go down. Can Beans at least spot him on the exit or at least put him weak so his team isn't going for the chow, but Hook's able to at least play his life for now. Spot him if you are TJ, but Hook the Nuke is going to go for the chow, and TJ makes him pay for it. So Carolina Royal Ravens, 2 rounds in a row. They withstand that cruise missile coming in. They're keeping their hopes and dreams alive.
Well, interesting to see Surge not try to overwhelm mid-tank after they got Water Street control right there. Like you had called, I mean, it was a crossfire setup to see if anyone out of Cafe was going to try to make something happen, but that doesn't actually occur. And maybe you could discredit the fact that, hey, 0-4 is seen on that re-wrap over towards backside Water Bridge, but it did feel a little bit odd that they didn't just hold the angle of tank and go for post plant.
Yeah, and keep in mind, it's also 0-4 with that smoke grenade in hand. He has to invest it not on the site, but for him to simply stay alive over towards Water Street. Would have really loved that smoke grenade if you were going to work that objective, but Carolina able to stay alive. Now back to the attacking side. Again, they're just going to not allow Hoop to take this map away from them.
Does that stun land? Yeah, sure does. TJ trying to push it forward. 1-for-1 the exchange. Big pistol battle. And how about the help from Beans? Okay. Carolina starting to show us some initiative here as they out-trade the opening fight and find themselves into a 3v2.
Now in the man advantage, you do have a player in Fellow who is putting himself in a position to watch this overextension, but he gives the comms to his teammates. He spots no one cross over towards B, but Brezzy in a very crucial spot.
Does he hear anything? Does he see anything? Hard to say as he now backs up and the shadow has been seen. Beans will get fallen. So now it's 2v2. Abuza not far off. Bomb making its way very aggressively and very quickly in towards the B site. And this is looking like it'll be a 2v2 post plant.
Keep in mind, Brezzy still has a nade to work with, so do Carolina have any trophy systems to keep him alive in this two-man setup? This is the go-to in the 2v2. One over towards the cages, one over towards the tractor, and right now, Vancouver, they're splitting up.
Surge taking their time, clearing out the angles. And now it's going to be about how they break through. Like you mentioned, a very standard setup. Nade comes out, Abuza finds the first. Nice trade from Fellow. Still staying alive and dancing. 18 seconds on the clock, Abuza up top. Fellow trying to fight him off. Pistol out for Abuza, and he's able to take the win, catching Fellow off guard. Plenty of time for the defuse. And what has been the staple for the entire year continues to be the success point for Vancouver, still flawless against Carolina in the search.
8-0 in Search and Destroy. They showed up with a better game plan in that map number 5. It just took Carolina a little too late to make those mid-game adjustments, to not give up all the map control towards the very end of that game. But Brezzy, he played phenomenal in that final round. The fact that he realizes, okay, they haven't worked the plan over towards A, I'm going to sit nice and tight in towards the DVD. Hopefully the time